Hi, welcome to Story Time with Gigi. I'm so glad you're here today as we count down to Christmas. Today's story is Mr. Willowby's Christmas Tree by Robert Barry. Mr. Willowby's Christmas tree came by a special delivery. Full and fresh and glistening green, the biggest tree he had ever seen. He dashed downstairs to open the door. This was the moment he'd waited for. A magnificent tree, splendid, he cried. Please, sir, won't you carry it right inside? I think it might look best this year, right in the parlor corner here. But once the tree stood in its place, Mr. Willowby made a terrible face. The tree touched the ceiling, then bent like a bow. Oh, goodness heavens, he gasped. Something must go. It is a very large tree. Baxter the butler was called on in haste to chop off the top, though it seemed quite a waste. That's great, Mr. Willowby cried with glee. Now we can start to trim the tree. When the trimming was well underway, the top was placed on a silver tray. Baxter said, I know just who would be delighted with this Christmas tree. So it was presented to Miss Adeline, Mr. Willowby's upstairs maid. Won't this tree be a pretty sight when I have trimmed it later tonight? But the top, oh dear, I'm so afraid we'll have to cut, said Miss Adelaide. And so with scissors sharp and long, she snipped the top while she hummed a song. The top was set the very next day in the back of the house to be thrown away. The little treetop caught the eye of Tim the gardener passing by. He certainly was not about to see that little tree thrown out. He hurried home straight away to see what Mrs. Tim would say. Fa-la-la, surprise, surprise! His wife could not believe her eyes. But our house, she said, is so snug and small, I do not believe we need it at all. And before Tim had a chance to shout, she cut the top and threw it out. Barnaby Bear was paddling by. It almost hit him in the eye. Now who would throw a tree away so very close to Christmas Day? I'll take it home, that's what I'll do. Look, Mama Bear, a present for you. Isn't it a pretty tree? Yawned Barnaby quite drowsily. But Little Bear, standing off far, cried out, That tree won't hold a star. Barnaby said, Let's cut a hunk off the bottom, here at the trunk. But Mama Bear just shook her head and sliced the treetop off instead. Jolly by golly, Barnaby said with a kick. Mama, that surely is the right trick. Let's trim it with bells and honey rings, some berries and tinsels and popcorn strings. Mama said trim is just as you like. I've got to tidy up for the night. This top won't be needed anymore. I'll put it just outside the door. Who will get it next? Later on that frosty night, Frisky Fox came into sight. He spied the treetop, rubbed his chin, opened his sack, and stuffed it in. He scampered home and jumped his gate. This Christmas present couldn't wait. It's even better than mincemeat pie, said Mrs. Fox with a happy sigh. Then the foxes saw that their Christmas prize was just a wee bit oversized. There, my dear, don't you worry. I'll fix this top now in a hurry. Benjamin Rabbit found it then, just outside the fox's den. It seems he thought most certainly, Santa left that for my family. Look, he cried, see the tree I found? With that he called his family around. Then there was a merry-making, rollicking, frolicking, carrot-shaking celebration around the tree. All were as happy as rabbits could be. Benjamin Rabbit, with his own hand, sliced a carrot and made a stand. Now let's see how this will look in our little chimney nook. But right away the children cried, look, it's leaning off to one side. It's too tall, that's all, Mrs. Rabbit. And as though it were a summer carrot, she gave it a chop and threw it away the top. Someone else gonna get it? Then Mistletoe Mouse just happened to see that the tiny tip of the Christmas tree. He pulled it through the snow and ice, up some stairs. He fell down twice. At last he reached the cozy house. It's just the right side, said Mrs. Mouse. Then at the top, if you please, they put a star made out of cheese. Oh, wasn't it grand to have a tree exactly like Mr. Willowby? Oh, have you decorated your tree yet? Tell me in the comments below, and also tell me what story you want me to read with Story Time with Gigi. Make sure you subscribe because we only have 19 more days till Christmas. And until next time, as my friend Les Brown would say, shoot for the moon, because if you miss, you might just land amongst the stars. Bye!